All right, here's a quick video on setting up quizzes. I will link to some other videos here that show you how to specifically question write for each question type. All of the interface has been updated. The settings and such for each question are the same. So if you want to make a quiz, first off, quizzes are pretty powerful. You can get a lot of data from quizzes that you can't from typically administering a quiz in a traditional fashion. So what you're going to do here is you're going to first go ahead and click on quiz, and you're going to add this. Now the settings for the quiz, what I do is I create a quiz that has all the settings I like, then I put it in my course and I hide it. That means now whenever I want a quiz that has the correct settings on it, I just copy that quiz, put it where I want in the course, and I don't have to change the settings each time. So your first option, are you going to give them time limits? What are you going to do when time expires? So, you get to choose this. Do you want to give them 30 minutes or something? I usually give them a time limit, and I try to make it like twice the actual time limit. But that way, if something happens after, with the internet connection or whatever, after X number of minutes, the attempt is automatically submitted. Here in your grade, if you have categories set up, you can throw a category on there. The categories are set up in your grade book, so you might have, a test category, assignment category, a homework category, and practice category or something. So you'd have those set up in the grade book. So here, if you want to put a percentage, or it's a raw, it's raw. So if this is out of 10 points and you want to say you got to get a 6 out of 10, that would make it pass. Again, you get to choose your attempts, and you get to choose how you grade. I typically go with last attempt. You can go highest, but last. Now, whenever somebody's doing it, it's the most recent, snapshot of what they're able to do. So your layout, you get to choose if, how many questions you want on a page. Do you want all? If you do every question on a page, the nice part about that is every time the student clicks next, it saves for them. So if you do all of them on one page and there's, 30 questions, and the internet times out at 26, if they haven't saved throughout the thing, they'll lose some of their answers. So if you just do every question, whenever they click next, it automatically saves. And then here you get to choose, do they have to take them in order, or can they, over here there'll be a box and they can click the number question they want to work on. Question behavior, so this comes with how you want it to appear to them. So adaptive mode, your options here for adaptive mode are you going to provide them feedback along the way? And so let's say they get it wrong with adaptive mode. You can say every time you try it, there's a 30% penalty. Or you can say every time you try it, there's no penalty. And you can give hints along the way if you want to set it up. Deferred feedback is kind of the traditional, they turn it in at the end, and then they find out how they did on anything that can be automatically graded. Immediate, this allows every question to be checked along the way. If each attempt builds on the last, what's going to happen is if they have unlimited attempts and they take it more than once, it's going to be the same attempt, the same questions in the same order, if you have this as yes. If you have it as no, every time they take it, it's going to generate a new version of the quiz, depending on how you have the quiz settings set up. So here there's a bunch of options. It's really not, don't let it be daunting to you. So this is just saying, all right, during the attempt, well, because we have deferred feedback, they can't do anything during the attempt. As soon as the attempt is over, they can see what they submitted. They can see if it's correct, see how many points they got or didn't get. Specific and general, those are settings in question types. And then do you want to show them the right answer? So if I'm given like a unit quiz or something, or more of a summative, I'm not going to have them show the right answer right away. In fact, I would not have them show it until it's closed, because if they show the right answer, you know what happens at lunch. Now, there's also a way around that. So when I set up a quiz, I typically put, let's say I'm going to give 10 question quiz. I'm going to pull questions from question banks and randomly select. So not everybody's going to get the exact same question, just making sure that you're pulling the same, approximately the same number, same difficulty. You don't want to have easy questions in the same folder as hard questions, or somebody could get the short end of the stick on that. So I'll show you in the next video how I set that up for the categories and such. And then, so this is immediately after later, so once they close the window, if they want to go back in. And then right now the quiz doesn't close, so I can't select any of these. These aren't a big deal. Usually 1's fine. Some people like 0. Again, in your grade book, you have the number of decimals selected for the grade. So you can put extra restrictions. So here's one where you could put passwords on here. So let's say you want to give a group of students a second attempt, and you could just give them a password, and they would then go in and take that second attempt. More often than not, that password gets out. So usually I do what's called an override, and I can show you that here in a little bit, again, in one of the follow-up videos. Here you can also, you can actually say, like, I want them to be at school. So you'd put in the IP address of your school connection point that they're connecting to. That won't let them take it at home. And here you can throw up some browser security. The big issue here is I usually use full screen pop-up so they can't get out of it. The issue is if they go and use, if I'm in Chrome and they go and use Firefox, there isn't a way around that. There is a way. That isn't it. You can use a safe exam browser. For that, you have to set up a lot. That's typically like statewide testing. They set those up. So it pretty much locks down the computer. It doesn't let any other windows open and such. So here you can put some grade boundaries. So if I want to say anywhere between 90 and 100, good job. And honestly, this is a good place to put some differentiation to automatically differentiate. So if you want to do and then you could throw a link in here to an article that only people between 90 and 100 are going to see if they score on this quiz. So it's kind of like an extension. And then you could do another one. So maybe I also want to do between 70 and 90, It's also kind of fun if you're able, if you got a simulation or a game that's relevant to what you're learning, that's an extension, you can link to that, because then one kid's going to see another kid playing a game and say, what is that? And you're going to say, well, when I got done with the quiz, it showed me this link and I went to it. So that you just kind of want to be upfront about that. And then maybe, so like 0 to 50, you're probably going to want to say like, I don't know if you want to say come see me, but you get the idea. You can provide overall feedback like that. This isn't a big one if you only want it available to certain groups, or if you have groups set up in your class. So you might have like period 1 group, period 2 group, and then here you could, the reason you would use these, when I was in the classroom, I taught with a teacher and we taught off the same Moodle course. So I might make something available to just my grouping of periods and not his. So then this is where I would do that, but it's not set up in the course, so you don't see anything there. Restricting access. This is a neat one. I've seen different teachers do it different ways. It probably depends what kind of course you're teaching. But so let's say you've got 5 things you want a student to do prior to taking a quiz. I want you to read this article. I want you to participate in this forum. I want you to send me this assignment, whatever it is. And so you can add restrictions on here. I don't have assignments set up right now. Like there's no assignments to use as a restriction. But if I did, that would be an option. So like, okay, you have to pass this assignment. You have to have clicked on this link, and you had to have posted twice and replied once in this forum. You could set all that stuff up here. But again, you'd have to set up those forums ahead of time. And right now you just leave it at none, and if you want to do it, you just save it, do the forums, then you come back to it, and you can put those restrictions on it. So next I'm going to go over getting categories set up correctly, and then we'll get into some question writing.